The house no longer felt like a place where people lived. It breathed. It listened. It watched. Samuel moved through it like a shadow trapped inside another shadow, clutching the charm as if it were a piece of his own body. He barely slept now. The little rest he got came in broken pieces, punctured by whispers, by cold hands that never touched his skin but still left a feeling of pressure, of intention. Saran watched him from the hallway one morning and felt her heart break. He was sitting on the floor, knees pulled to his chest, muttering to the charm as if it were an old friend. Not praying, not pleading. Talking calmly, naturally, like the object was answering. And sometimes he reacted as though it truly did. "No, I won't," he whispered, shaking his head. "Not them, stop asking me." I said stop. There was no one there. Yet the room felt crowded. David, standing behind Saran, sensed the shift too. A heaviness in the air, a coldness that wasn't natural. The days were stretching into something unnatural, and now Samuel barely left his room, except to wander the house with the charm pressed to his chest. The charm was no longer just an object. It had become a companion, a guide, an authority, and Samuel obeyed it more each day. Saran finally said what they had both feared to voice aloud. "We need to take him to the church." David's first instinct was to agree, and his second was to hesitate. Something told him Samuel wouldn't follow willingly. The pact had eaten too much of him already, but they had to try. That evening, they approached him gently. Saran sat beside him, placing a hand over his. "Samuel, we're going to the church tomorrow. Father Chai can help you." The reaction was instant. Samuel jerked his hand away, clinging the charm against his chest with a frantic motion, breathing as though she had attempted to rip out his heart. His eyes widened, veins tightening across his temple. "No church," he whispered, then louder. "Nitrogen monoxide church." David stepped back. Saran felt her stomach drop. Samuel rose to his feet slowly, trembling as though a storm were shaking him from the inside. His shadow on the wall rippled unnaturally, stretching in a direction it shouldn't have stretched. "They want to take you from me," he whispered to the charm. You see how they plot? You were right." He turned to them, breathing heavily. "You think I'm blind? You want to take my power, both of you. You pretend to care, but you want to weaken me." "Samuel, no," Saran said softly. "It's not liars." The shout rattled the lamps. The windows trembled. David felt something shift in the air, as if something unseen had taken a step closer. From that moment on, the house became a battlefield. Samuel locked his door during the day and roamed the halls at night. The charm glowed faintly sometimes, as if answering him. He accused Saran of whispering to spirits. He accused David of trying to steal his destiny. He followed them silently from room to room, studying them with eyes that no longer held warmth. Saran tried again to reach him, but that night, he snapped fully. He locked the door as she entered their bedroom and whispered, "You cannot leave. The charm doesn't trust you, and neither do I." For the first time, Saran felt truly afraid of the man she loved. David, hearing the argument, rushed to intervene, but Samuel shoved him with a force David shouldn't have been able to survive. He flew back against the wall, dazed but alive. Samuel gasped afterward, horrified at himself for a fraction of a second. Then the charm pulsed, and the horror vanished from his expression, replaced by something colder, something hungrier. Through all this chaos, the voice of Chief Aluo pressed itself deeper into Samuel's dreams. "You owe blood. You owe your debt. And the charm owes me." At first it was a whisper. Then it became a thunder. And Samuel felt it like chains tightening around his soul. Something else was happening too. David and Saran did not know it yet, but Father Chaik had spent days searching through old records, old stories, tracing the origins of the charm. The truth he found chilled him. The charm was not a tool, not a talisman, but a seed passed from generation to generation. A trap disguised as a blessing. Every carrier fell into its hunger. Every carrier paid the price. And their blood nourished the pact that kept Chief Oluo's power alive. Samuel was just the next in a long line. Father Chaik hurried toward the house after discovering this truth, clutching the last remnants of rituals nearly forgotten. He feared he might be too late. Inside, Samuel's paranoia reached its peak. He now spoke to the charm openly. "You don't want them here. I know what to do. Yes, I'll protect us. They are the threat, not you. I see it now. Saran's heart broke each time she heard him. David tried to stay strong, but even he felt the chill. It wasn't just Samuel anymore. The charm was speaking back, and its hunger was waking. Samuel stopped eating, stopped bathing. His hair grew wild, his eyes hollow. When he walked, the house creaked as if reacting to his presence. Sometimes shadows moved at the edge of Saran's vision. Sometimes the air felt thicker when Samuel entered the room. "You lost me the day you tried to take this from me," he whispered, stroking the charm. "We never tried, you did." His voice dropped. "I heard you." Climax built slowly, pressure no one could escape. That night, Samuel dragged the table against the hallway door, preventing Saran from leaving the room. He locked David in the study, muttering, "You'll thank me later." "This is for your protection. For mine. For the charm," Saran cried. David pounded the door, and Samuel whispered to the charm, smiling faintly, his eyes empty. Samuel didn't sleep that night. The charm pulsed against his chest like a heartbeat that wasn't his. Every few minutes he whispered to it, as if soothing an invisible creature that lived inside him. His eyes were wide, glassy, fixed on the darkness around him. Saran didn't dare enter the room. She watched through the crack of the door as Samuel sat cross-legged on the floor, the charm hovering slightly above his palm without him even noticing. His voice was low, rhythmic, a chant mixed with trembling words. "Don't leave me, I gave you everything. They want to take you from me, but I won't let them." Saran covered her mouth with her hand. She had seen Samuel stressed, exhausted, even furious. But this was someone else wearing Samuel's face. David arrived quietly, entering through the back door to avoid alerting Samuel. Saran rushed to him, grabbing his arm. "It's worse," she whispered. "He didn't sleep. He didn't eat. And now he talks to the charm as if it's alive." David's expression tightened. "It is alive. Just not in the way he thinks." They both looked toward the door. David inhaled deeply. "We need to try again, Saran. We need to get him to church. Whatever happens." Before Saran could answer, Samuel's voice rose sharply from inside the room. "You think I don't hear you?" he shouted. Both froze. Samuel stood at the doorway, his chest rising and falling quickly. His eyes darted between them like he was watching two conspirators. "You're planning something. I can feel it." "The charm can feel it." Saran whispered softly. "We just want to help you." "Help?" Samuel barked out a laugh that didn't sound human. "By taking away what's mine? By dragging me to someone who wants to destroy everything I achieved?" David stepped forward. "No one wants to destroy you, brother. But the thing you're holding..." Samuel held up the charm, clutching it protectively. "This is my life, my destiny." "Neither of you understand." His voice cracked. A painful mix of fear and anger. Saran slowly lifted her hand. "Just come outside for a moment. Let's talk." "No." Samuel shook his head fast. "Too fast. You want to weaken me. You want Aluo to punish me." The moment he said that name, something cold passed between them. David whispered, "Samuel?" "Chief Aluo is dead." Samuel blinked. Once, twice, then a smile stretched across his lips. Slow, unnerving. "Is he?" A sudden gust of wind swept through the house, though all windows were closed. The lights flickered. Something unseen brushed against Saran's shoulder, making her cry out. Samuel didn't react to the chaos, only tilted his head like he was listening. Then he nodded to someone only he could see. "He says he's not done with me. Or with any of us." That night, when Samuel locked himself inside the bedroom again, Saran and David waited in the living room, tense, murmuring prayers under their breath. But at exactly 3 a.m., Samuel began screaming. Not in pain, but in conversation. As if Chief Aluo was standing right there in front of him, Saran fell to her knees. "David, we can't wait anymore. This is going to kill him." David grabbed her shoulders gently. "He won't let us take him by force. If we try, the charm might..." They both stopped as Samuel's voice changed. It became deep, a mimic of the chief's tone. An eerie mixture of two voices speaking in one body. "Pay what you owe. Return what belongs to me." Samuel sobbed. I tried to give you what you wanted." Saran covered her ears. She couldn't listen anymore. David, however, listened. Every word. Because the more Samuel spoke, the more David understood something terrifying. Samuel wasn't the only one Chief Aluo wanted. The charm wasn't just tied to Samuel's soul, it wanted a successor, a new host, a new generation. The bloodline didn't matter, it only needed proximity. And David realized something that made the room tilt under his feet. The charm had been whispering to him too. Subtly, for weeks, at sunrise they tried again. Saran brought holy water, a Bible, and a small wooden cross from Father Chaik. David stood with her. If he refuses again, we call Father Chaik. Today, no matter what. They knocked on the door. Samuel, we're coming in. Silence. David pushed the door gently. Samuel sat on the bed, back bent forward, charm glowing faintly in his hand. He looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, sweat on his forehead. But his eyes were disturbingly calm. Too calm. Good morning, he said softly. Saran forced a smile. Morning, love. David approached slowly. We have something to discuss. But before he could say more, Samuel's face hardened. You're wasting your time. Samuel, Saran murmured, trying not to cry. Please, let us protect you. Samuel's head snapped up. I don't need protection. I am the protection. The lights blinked. A picture frame fell off the wall. The charm glowed intensely. David reached for his pocket and produced the small bottle of holy water. Samuel immediately noticed. His voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. What is that? A blessing, David replied. Samuel stood up so suddenly that the bed shook. You think you can burn me? You think that will free me from what I've become? David stayed calm. No, but it can free what's holding you. Saran took a step closer. Baby, please. Just listen. Listen? Samuel exploded. You want to silence me. You think I'm insane, but I see more than both of you combined. David uncapped the holy water. Samuel let out a sharp, frightened growl and shoved Saran away, then locked himself in the room before they could react. Don't come near me, he shouted from behind the door. You're not taking it. Something slammed violently on the walls. Saran burst into tears. David leaned against the door, voice trembling. If we don't act soon, he'll destroy himself. Over the next days, Samuel spiraled further. He whispered to the charm like a lover. He slept with it pressed against his chest. He stopped eating, stopped bathing, stopped answering to his own name. Sometimes he locked Saran in the house, claiming it was to protect her from the world outside. Other times he locked David out, saying he didn't deserve to enter. Once, he grabbed Saran by the wrist and hissed, You can't hide from the oath. You were chosen too. It was getting dangerous, but Saran refused to abandon him. David stayed close, but each night he felt the charm's presence growing heavier, darker, as if searching for a new target. One night, Samuel spoke clearly, lucidly, for the first time in days. They want the charm back, he whispered to Saran, but they won't take it. They won't take me. Saran held his face gently. Samuel, please. Let us help you. Samuel's lips trembled. Help me? Saran? I don't think I'm coming back from this. The charm pulsed one last time, violently, and Samuel screamed, falling to the floor. David rushed in. The room turned cold, and the shadows moved on their own. The night after Saran and David's failed attempt to drag Samuel to the church, something shifted in the atmosphere of the house. The air felt heavier, almost metallic, as if infused with an unseen presence waiting for the right moment to fully reveal itself. Samuel barely slept anymore. He stayed up for hours staring at the charm, whispering to it with an obsession that frightened both Saran and David to the core. At first they believed he was just responding to hallucinations born from fear, but eventually the way he stared at the charm made them realize he wasn't just hearing something. He believed he was having a conversation. You think they can take you from me? Samuel muttered one evening, his eyes fixed on the small object in his palm. You think I'll let them drag me away like a child? No, I am the one you chose. I am the one who paid the price. His voice trembled, yet it carried a strange conviction. Saran watched him from the doorway, her hands trembling. She whispered to David, barely audible, He's talking to it, like it's alive. David felt a shiver crawl down his spine. It is alive, he murmured. Not like us, not like anything human. But it is. They exchanged a look of despair, but also of determination. Something had to be done. But before they could act, Samuel began to unravel faster than anyone expected. He barricaded doors at night. He hid keys. He watched them constantly, as if expecting betrayal. And then came the day he locked David inside the guest room after an argument, convinced his childhood friend was plotting to steal his gift. Saran screamed for him to open the door until her voice broke, and Samuel, trembling with rage and fear, yelled back, "He wants what is mine." "You think I don't see it? You think I don't know why he keeps going to the church? I know everything." David pounded on the other side, shouting Samuel's name, but Samuel walked away, pacing the corridor with erratic steps, clutching the charm like a lifeline. That was when Saran secretly contacted Father Chaik. She whispered to him over the phone, terrified. "He's getting worse. He's dangerous." "He's not Samuel anymore. Please, please come." Father Chaik did not hesitate. He had already sensed that things were spiraling beyond the natural world. So he left the church at dusk, carrying with him only a small wooden cross and an old prayer book, believing that faith alone would have to be enough. When he arrived at the house, the wind howled through the trees, as if warning him to turn back, but he stepped forward anyway. Saran opened the door with trembling hands. "He's inside," she whispered. But he's not alone. As Chaik entered, he felt an immediate pressure around his chest, like invisible hands squeezing him. The charm's presence was overwhelming, almost tangible. He recognized instantly that what was inside that house was not just a spiritual disturbance. It was a claim, a generational claim. The door slammed behind him on its own. Saran gasped, reaching for it instinctively, but Chaik raised a hand. "It knows I'm here," he said softly. "Keep your faith strong, no matter what you see." He stepped deeper into the house. "Samuel," he called. "It's Father Chaik. I've come to help you." Samuel emerged from the shadows of the hallway, his expression unreadable, the charm shining faintly in his hand. "Help?" he repeated, his voice distant. "Why would I need help? I'm finally becoming who I was meant to be." Chaik stepped forward cautiously. "The object you're holding, it's not a blessing. It is an anchor for something ancient, something that feeds off suffering." "You must let me take it," Samuel laughed, a sound that wasn't entirely his. "You think you can take it? It chose me long before you ever knew." Suddenly the air shifted. A cold wave swept through the corridor. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the walls. Chaik clutched his cross tighter. "Samuel, listen to me. That charm was never meant to bring wealth or power. It was crafted as a vessel for sacrifice. Every generation, someone is lured into its promise. You were never the first. And you will not be the last unless you let me intervene." Samuel's eyes flickered with conflict, but the charm pulsed in his palm like a heartbeat. "He'd promised to elevate me," Samuel murmured. "He promised to reward what I went through." "He lied," Chaik whispered. "It lies to all of them," and that was when the house reacted. A violent force swept through the corridor, knocking the cross from Chaik's hand. Saran screamed as the hallway darkened unnaturally, the lights flickering before dying completely. Then from the shadows, an unseen force grabbed Father Chaik, lifting him from the ground as he gasped for air. "Samuel!" Saran cried. "Stop this, please!" But Samuel stood frozen, unable to move, his face touched with fear and awe as Chaik was held suspended by something no human eye could see. "Let it go," Samuel whispered, but his voice lacked power. The charm had claimed authority. Chaik managed to look at Samuel, his voice strained but resolute. "Break the chain, or it will consume every one of you." And then, without violence, without any visible harm, the air simply tightened, and Chaik's body went still. He fell to the ground as the force released him, lifeless but untouched. Saran collapsed in tears. David, freed from the locked room after the door mysteriously unlatched during the chaos, joined her, stunned. From the other end of the hall, Samuel trembled, dropping to his knees as if the weight of what had happened finally struck him. "What have I done?" he whispered. But the charm pulsed again, stronger this time. A low hum filled the air, vibrating against the walls. David stepped forward cautiously. "Samuel, drop it, please. It's killing everything around you." Samuel shook his head violently. No, you don't understand. If I drop it, it takes me." "It said so. It said I belong to it now." Saran whispered. "Samuel, please." "Let us help you." But it was too late. The charm's glow deepened into an unnatural darkness, like a hole swallowing light. The hum rose, turning into a whispering chorus neither David nor Saran could understand. But Samuel seemed to respond to it as if recognizing every word. His eyes rolled back. His breathing slowed. And then, in a heartbeat, the house seemed to inhale. Every shadow converged toward Samuel. The charm lifted from his hand on its own, floating in the air as if tethered to something invisible. Samuel's body stiffened, suspended upright, his feet inches off the ground. David rushed forward but was thrown back by a force like wind. Saran screamed his name, reaching out helplessly. And then it happened. A silent flash, not light, but absence of light, enveloped Samuel. His body did not fall. It did not break. It simply emptied, like something had been pulled out of him. His eyes dimmed. His expression froze in a strange serenity. And then, as the charm dropped to the floor with a metallic clink, Samuel's body vanished into thin air, dissolving like smoke carried by a sudden breeze. Saran fell to her knees. David, trembling, crawled toward the charm lying in the middle of the floor. But before he could touch it, it moved, sliding across the floor on its own until it hid itself beneath a crack in the wooden boards. Waiting, silent, patient. The curse had not ended. The chain had not broken. Samuel was gone, Father Chike was gone, but David and Saran were left standing in the ruins of what had once been a home, survivors not by strength, but by mystery. And deep in the darkness beneath the floorboards, the charm waited quietly for the next soul desperate enough to listen.